Okay, people. So coming to Shudder is a remake, right? It's a remake of which at the time was meant to be a parody itself, but the Slumber Party Massacres. Okay, so the original film dropped in 1982. It was directed by Amy Holden Jones and written by Rita Mae Brown. And yeah, as I said, look, that film was meant to be a parody of slasher films. So kind of the original Scream or the original scary movie, but for some reason or not, they didn't end up shooting it like that. And the film itself, spawned two sequels. So Danishka Esterhazy and Suzanne Keilly decided to bring this back to life. With Eskany directing and Kelly writing this remake of a cult horror favorite. It is produced by Adam Friedlander, Samantha Levin, and Tibogu Malia. Cinematography is handled by Trevor Calvary. It's edited by David Treval. Music was from Andreas Smith. And the film is starring Hannah Goria as Dana Duval. Her mother, Trish, is played by, at the start, it's played by Masali Baduza, and then Schelaine Bennett. We've got Dana's friends. So there's Maeve, played by Frances Sholto-Douglas. Breanie, played by Alix McGregor. Ashley, played by Reze-Tiana Wessels, and her sister Alix, played by Mila Rayne. There's also Russ Thorn, played by Rob Van Vuuren. His mother Jackie, played by Jane DeWitt. We have Kim, played by Reem Koza. Diane, played by Larissa Crawford Lazarus. Kay, played by Jennifer Shen. So they're Trish's friends from the beginning of the film. Then there are the boys. So there's John, played by Michael Lawrence Potter. Chad, played by Arthur Falco. Sean, played by Nathan Castle. Matt, played by Eden Classens. Guy, played by Richard White. Guy 2, played by Breeden Byes. And Dave, played by Richard Wright Firth. Okay, so the gist is this. In 1993, Trish Devereaux was the only survivor of a massacre when she stopped Russ Thorn, a psychopath with a power drill, during a slumber party in Hollow Springs. Nearly 3 decades later, Trish's daughter Dana is off to a girls' weekend with friends, Ashley, Maeve, and Breanie. Maeve's sister Alix stows away and is eventually accepted to join them. Their car breaks down and the girls are forced to go to the same campground, renamed Jolly Springs, where Trish encountered Russ Thorn. History soon is set to repeat itself when Dana and the girls decide to have their slumber party at the cabin. Bum, bum, bum. So this is it's been created as a feminist reboot, as it were. Um, with an all-female principal cast. Yeah, that's what they're looking to do. Even though the original was it's kind of that, but as I said, look, things changed slightly in the making. So yeah, they decided to follow it all the way through this time out. And yeah, like if you've watched, Scream and Scary Movie, not another scary movie, not another scary movie, something like that, right? If you've watched those films, enjoyed those films, then yeah, you'll understand what they're doing here, right? There's a lot of close-up work to really bring the tension, and they play on that a lot at the start, right? There's a lot of tension, a lot of false jumps, false scares, right? To lull you into that false sense of security, which, it's played very well. Played very well. The film, we get past the oh my days. Excuse me, people. Oh my days. Yeah, we get past the first incident, our 1992 situation, and then as we jump forward, you kind of realize what's happening. The mother, her daughter, and yeah, I think you can see where this is going, right? It is predictable, but it's still kind of fun, right? And that's because they're really playing up the situation and how they've changed it, right? They had the girls knowing about the whole situation from a podcast. And yeah, it becomes something slightly different. You know what I mean? Just something slightly different. And you kind of see what they've done, and it's like, yeah, all right, I see that. I see that. Now, they then bump into a group of boys who have also been listening to this podcast and wanted to come to experience. They've done this ghost tour and all of this. And yeah, they then play the boys as if these were girls in a like 60s, 70s, 80s horror film. You know what I mean? Helpless, silly, doing stupid things. And it's that role reversal thing, right? So you've got the boys. Remember Zoolander and the petrol fight, right? We get a similar scene, not with petrol, not with petrol, but yeah, we get this similar scene. It's silly, it's stupid, it makes no sense, right? It makes no sense, but it's playing on those things, right? Because usually in a film like this, you've got scantily clad girls jumping around, play fighting, just being dumb, right? So instead of, although, they put the girls in their nightwear, it's the guys who they really objectify, as it were. You know what I mean? Like there's no nudity apart from a guy in a shower, right? So they shoot and they do what they would have done with the girl, slow motion, music, close-ups, fadeaways, steam and all of this, right? Because they're really playing up this thing, which it's silly, but it works, right? Now, they did I think they jumped the shark a few times, right? There's a point where one of the guys goes, "Oh, I would do that, but my toxic masculinity makes me want to do this," and it's just like, hey, you don't need to spell it out like that. We understand what you're doing, and it's silly, it's fine. But when you're really just be like, look at this toxic masculinity, sexism, blah blah blah, it then ruins the flow of the film. You know what I mean? And it takes you out of this silliness, and it's just like, do we have to do this? Right? Why are we trying to make these statements when the film is doing it on its own? Right? What they were trying to say is evident, it's clear. A bozo, maybe not a bozo, but most people will be able to follow and understand. Oh, they're flipping it. They're flipping it, right? But yeah, there's those moments when they really felt we need to vocalize this thing, which they didn't because it was clear. It was clear with the scene, and the vocalization kind of just steps on it, right? Kind of steps on it. It's one of those ones where someone tells a joke and everyone's laughing, and then they try and get that extra laugh and say something else, and it's just like, hey, you gone fucked up, son. You should have left. You should have standard it. You feel me? So yeah, they do that 2-3 times, but it's quick enough that all right, let me get back in. Let me get back into the flow of this shit. So yeah, you can enjoy it. Now you do feel like they kind of came to a conclusion pretty quick, but then we get like the next part of this kind of adventure. And yeah, I think the last third of the film does add that extra oomph to the story. It adds, because before that it's a little too clean. It's a little too clean. So this muddies it up a bit. It fucks it up. And that's decent. That's really what it needed for you to be like, yeah, no, that was I. That was I. You know what I mean? Um, Although again, right, I think because you could see what they were doing with the film, the last bird, yeah, you probably figure out how they're gonna then flip it, and you can guess, the peoples and all of this kind of thing. You can guess it, but it's still not done too badly. And then at the very end, the end is gonna come, right? You know because we've kind of, man, we've seen it somewhere. Trying to remember the film. We've seen this kind of little thing happen, but I can't think of it. But it's not a bad take. Now, Shudder, you know what I mean? They did a little slumber story in Scare Package, right? It was Scare Package, and it was, oh gosh, it was Hillary and her sister. Um, Gosh, who's her sister? It's the Angbar sisters, right? Um, Fuck. Trying to remember their names. Courtney. Yes, Hillary and Courtney Andrew Jar. Sorry, Andrew Jar. Right? They told a really good slumber party story in the anthology Scare Package, which if you haven't watched, check it out. And it's on Shudder, people, so you can enjoy that. Um, but yeah, it's different to their one, but it's not bad. Like this isn't bad. It does, like it does what they intended it to do. You can see that. Look, they wanted to make a feminist horror film, which all power to them. It's fine, right? I mean, as I said, look, they forced an issue a few times, which they didn't really need to do. It did muddy it up a little bit. It did, mess the flow slightly, but it's still not bad. It's still not bad. Yeah, if you like parodies, if you like, as I said, look, Scream and Scary Movie, all of them ones, then I think you would probably enjoy this. You know, as long as you just don't hate all things. You know what I mean? Left and feminism, then it might irritate you slightly. But if you're good to go with the flow, then the Slumber Party Massacre, I think that might be something for you people. I think it might well be something for you. And right, the good news is, so this drops on Monday the 13th of December. And it will be coming out on DVD in the UK on the 10th of January. I'm not quite sure on the US release dates yet, people, but if we figure it out, you'll find it in the episode details. Okay. But yeah, it's going to be available from all your usual favorite VODs, right? So yeah, if you want a little horror fun, then the Slumber Party Massacres may very well be that fun for you.